Mark Levin here. After any presidential election, I take time to reevaluate my own financial investments. That's why I continue to invest in gold for help with my financial protection. When it comes to gold, I only trust Advantage Gold. They're a top gold company in America, and that's who I turn to for my own gold purchases. Call them now at 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000 for a free gold investment kit. And see if you qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. And tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Any of you getting tired of winning yet? Because Lord knows I'm not. Welcome. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one, and we are going to have one fun show tonight, my friends. I don't even know where to start. There's a video that someone just sent me in Canada, and it made me just smile and laugh. Canadian liquor stores started taking American liquor off the shelves only to put it right back on. After Justin Trudeau caved to Trump's demands, this is what winning looks like when you put America first. Now, let me just start with the tweet that got us here so you're up to date, and then we'll build it backwards so how all this kind of happened. President Trump and Canada's new $1.3 billion border plan is the new thing. Here is Donald Trump's tweet. Canada has agreed to ensure we have a secure northern border and to finally end the deadly surge of drugs like fentanyl that have been pouring into our country, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans while destroying their families and communities all across our country. Canada will implement their $1.3 billion border plan as per Prime Minister Trudeau, and they will be reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint task force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Now, this is exactly why Donald Trump said, I'm putting tariffs, and signed the executive action over the weekend on Canada and on Mexico. There were a lot of people that didn't understand the Canada aspect of this. So I'm going to break it down a couple of different ways so you understand why the Canada part was so important. The worry is that we were going to do a great job of sealing up the the southern border, and that would make the northern border, which is much more porous, more of a focus on from cartels, human trafficking, fentanyl, the list goes on, and prospective terrorists to then use. There has been fentanyl that is coming across Canada's border. There's no doubt about that. That is a fact. But when you seal up a southern border, which it looks like we're going to be able to do that in a major way, and we're sending a lot of resources down there. And by the way, Mexico also caved, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But this is the reason why the Canada aspect of this is important, because what Canada would then become a place where these people would look to then expand. And there was also, yes, trade deficits with Canada. But this isn't really as much about the trade deficit as it was about national security. And it was getting a commitment from Canada like, hey, you guys aren't going to look the other way any longer, okay? Like these drugs that are coming across are as dangerous as the illegal immigrants coming across the southern border at record numbers, because the drugs coming across and the fentanyl that's killing millions of Americans, or hundreds of thousands of Americans, I should say, and the number one killer of people in this country, I think it's 45 and under now, is fentanyl overdoses in America. So we've got a problem here. It may not be human beings coming across, but pills are coming across. And every pill that's coming across laced with fentanyl is a killing machine in the United States of America. This is a problem. You add then the compounding aspect that maybe people would choose to not try to get across the southern border anymore because it's easier to get across the northern border with Canada. And that's why Donald Trump said Canada is now going to implement a $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, something that wasn't there. That's a good thing. Technology and personnel, that wasn't there. That's a good thing. And also, there's going to be a true cooperation and partnership, coordination with our American partners, and increased sources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. All of these things are good for America. Does that mean that we're at war with Canada? No. But the sad part is it took Donald Trump threatening to impose and then signing it so it would happen, a 25% tariff to get either of these, quote, allies to do the right thing. Mexico was not going to do the right thing. Canada was not going to do the right thing. And the only reason why Canada surrendered and Trump wins yet again after this phone call with President Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau announcing this $1.3 billion border plan, which is really not a lot of money if you think about it, compared to what we're sending to corrupt nations, and we're going to get into USAID in a minute. Holy crap, that's a whole other story. But you look at this. This was a measured request by America. Trudeau also put out a tweet. I'm going to read you what he wrote. He said, quote, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increase resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. You notice that it almost sounds like I'm reading the same exact tweet. Just two different names changed. That's how much clearly Donald Trump wanted them to be on the same page. Trudeau then says, in addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists. Notice that is something new. Why did they do it before? Hell if I know, but this is why you have to try to use every piece of leverage that you have. And clearly over Canada, that was what Donald Trump understood, and it was tariffs to then get Trudeau to do his damn job. So now Canada is following America's lead and listing cartels as terrorists, ensuring 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint task force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I've also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs, Trudeau says, will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. Is this over? For all intents and purposes, the tariff threat, I think, is over as long as Trudeau does it the right way. It is sad that it took Donald Trump doing this. But the reality is this is not just a victory. And look, there's people out there that are like I started the show by saying, are you tired of winning yet? And there's people that are just looking at this through political eyes. And I understand that. There are people that are like, now he's bowing down to us. Now, this is another Trump win. Look, this isn't a Trump win as much as this is a win for national security and the safety of kids and grandkids who are ODing accidentally on fentanyl. Yes, they are taking a pill. It may be Adderall. It may be Ritalin. It may be Oxy. It may be codeine. Whatever it may be. But people take these pills without the intention of dying and ODing. And so many of them don't even know they're taking counterfeit pills. They think it's the real thing. So they think they're taking something that they become addicted to or black market, however you want to describe it. And then all of a sudden they're dead because of fentanyl-laced pills. That is, you want to talk about the silent killer in this country. Fentanyl is the silent killer. It's the worst terrorism this country has ever seen because we know who's selling it and we know who's bringing it in and we know where it's coming from and they're not stopping it. The Biden-Harris administration could care less. They weren't going to fight this battle. And Donald Trump is also a guy, and this goes back to what he understands about addiction. I go back to Trump, and one of the things that I have always related with Donald Trump with is the fact that he drinks Diet Coke. He drinks Diet Coke because he doesn't drink liquor. I'm the same way. I got hit by a drunk driver when I was young. That drunk driver died. We lived, thank goodness. And I could care less about alcohol my entire life. It's not because I was an alcoholic. It wasn't because I gave up drinking, and if I did, that would have been fine, but it's just because I saw how destructive alcohol is. At a very young age, when there's a dead body you've got to walk over. That happened to me as a child. Donald Trump saw alcoholism in his family. He has witnessed it destroy people around him. He has a genuine heart and a passion for stopping people from dying on drugs. That's not a political issue, by the way. It's not Republican or Democrat. Like, we should all agree that we should do everything in our power to stop the flow of drugs that are coming into this country, especially drugs that can kill you with you having no intent to die. I talked to a mother recently in D.C. whose daughter took a pill that was Adderall. She thought it was Adderall. And the daughter took it during finals week in high school. A friend of hers had an Adderall, and she was like, I got to stay up. I'm cramming for, I think it was SAT or ACT that was coming up on top of her finals. And so she was like trying to, focus in. By the way, ask any kid in college or high school if they've borrowed a friend's Adderall or most will tell you the truth. Yes, during a finals week or whatever, I've taken one. Daughter's dead. Can't get her back. Why? Because the pill was laced with fentanyl. That is a perfect example of what is happening in this country. You have people that lives are being destroyed because of these little pills they think are not a threat. Because they don't know what's happening. They don't know about the fentanyl, and it's costing kids their lives. And this is why Donald Trump is going after not only the cartels and saying they're terrorist organizations, and now he's convinced Canada to do the exact same thing. That's a good thing. That's harmony. That's what allies should be working on. But he's also saying, I'm coming after you because you are a killer. You're not putting a gun to someone's head and pulling the trigger, but what you are doing is giving them a pill that you know is laced with it and you know wasn't probably mixed correctly and you know is going to kill a certain percentage of the people that take those pills. The best way I can describe it from a police officer that explained to me was this. These cartel members, and they are terrorists, you get a bag of these fake pills. There is zero doubt in their mind when they're selling those pills that some of those pills are death. Some of them are going to be mixed better. But if you put a ballpoint pen into an empty Equal or Splenda package and you pull it out, the residue left in that empty package is enough to kill you. So these guys are mixing this stuff in a bathtub or in a plastic barrel. They don't care that some of those pills are 100% going to kill someone because they are cartels. They sell drugs, and they don't mind if some of their people die. They're not making this stuff in a lab the way that, the real pills are made. And they're not made, the real pills aren't made with fentanyl. And so this is how we got to this point. I am so thankful this is happening. I'm glad that Canada has come around quickly. Took less than 36 hours after Donald Trump announced it. Less than 36 hours. This is what winning looks like for all Americans. There are far too many Democratic children, independent children, Republican children, grandchildren that have died from this stuff, adults that have died from this stuff and orphaned their kids with no intent to kill themselves. These are terrorist organizations. They should be treated that way. And I'm glad that the president is doing it. 1-877-381-3811. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one, Mark Levin. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Did you see what the Federal Reserve did literally days after President Trump's victory? It's lowered interest rates by a quarter. Do you know why it did that? It's worried about the economy. It's worried about the fact that jobs aren't being created. We're seeing all kinds of shifts in our portfolios, and it's important to stay aware. That's why I'm urging everyone to diversify and consider gold as one of your financial shields. Now, gold has weathered every kind of economic downturn throughout history. I want you to call Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best, folks. I've dealt with all of them. They're the best. They're my gold company. 1-800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. I recommend Advantage Gold to anyone who's serious about protecting their wealth, and that's you. Call 800-900-8000 for your free gold investment kit, and you can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. You'll be very happy with them. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. Donald Trump having major victories over Canada and Mexico for all of us, mainly on the issue of national security, border security, and stopping fentanyl flowing into this country from across our southern and our northern border. Let's break down also the concessions and the agreement that has also come from Mexico since we just covered Canada. All right. So what was in there? What should you be excited about? Number one, Mexico has agreed to take several actions to address U.S. concerns about migration in exchange for this 30-day delay in the tariffs so they can, quote, continue to negotiate. The key commitments include, number one, increased border security. Mexico has pledged to enhance enforcement efforts, particularly its southern border with Guatemala, to reduce the flow of migrants traveling north through Mexico. Number two, a crackdown on smuggling networks. Mexico committed to intensifying efforts to dismantle human trafficking and the smuggling operations, which they've been more than happy to be a part of the entire time that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were in charge. They also agreed to expand the migrant processing. Mexico said, all right, fine, we agree to increase the use of programs that allow migrants to apply for asylum or legal status in Mexico instead of traveling to the United States of America. Number four, they agreed to cooperation with the U.S. Both countries, they said in their statement, all right, and you can agree to disagree if you believe them or not, but they're claiming that both countries are committed to working more closely to manage migration flows and share intelligence. Simply put, this is what Donald Trump said we needed. We need to reduce the number of migrants, illegal immigrants, reaching the U.S.-Mexico border, which was the primary concern behind the tariffs. And now it looks like Mexico understands they better shut up and do it the right way. You're not dealing with Biden Harris anymore. You're dealing with Donald J. Trump, and he's not here to screw around. He has a mandate. Now, the 30-day delay is also the reason why Mexico was so desperate for this, and they conceded so quickly was they said, number one, we need more time to negotiate, right? And this is their spin in their country. Like, well, it allows us more time to work on a long-term trade solution without immediate economic disruptions that would have hurt Canada or would have hurt Mexico much more than it would have hurt America in the short term. It also was stability for businesses that were putting a lot of pressure on Mexico to get this done on both sides of the border, because companies are relying on cross-border trade and they get a temporary reprieve. I'll give you a great example of this. Car manufacturing. There are cars that actually in the process of being put together go back and forth depending on what's being done to the car from Mexico and the U.S. multiple times. This allows for that stability. And this also is a consumer price relief point, because delaying the tariffs will help prevent short-term price hikes on imported goods from Mexico, which Mexico, by the way, really doesn't want. America doesn't want it either, but it's going to hurt Mexico a lot more. That is part of the reason why we're having this conversation. Now, I want to get your phone calls, get your reaction to all this. The number, 1-877-381-3811. You can send me your comments on Instagram as well if you can't get through. At Ben Ferguson Podcast. On X, it's Ben Ferguson Show. I read them all during the break. Send me your comments on X, Ben Ferguson Show, Instagram, Ben Ferguson Podcast. We'll be right back.
The markets are volatile. They're shooting up wildly only to drop without warning. The Fed just cut rates yet again, this time by a quarter point. Why? Because the Federal Reserve is not confident the economy is strong. In fact, last month only 12,000 jobs were created, all of them in the government. That's why I'm telling you again, diversification is crucially important. And diversification with gold is what I do. And the company I use, and I've used many, the best one is Advantage Gold. Call them now at 800-900-8000 for a free gold investment kit to see how gold can help you diversify your investments and take advantage now. Now, gold has been helping to protect and grow wealth for people for thousands of years. And in these times, it can be more crucial than ever. When it comes to gold, I trust Advantage Gold. They're one of the top gold companies in America. They're who I turn to when I purchase gold. Call them now, 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000 now for a free gold investment kit to see how gold can help you with your investment portfolio, a.k.a. your bank accounts, your paycheck. And when you do, you could qualify for $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Folks, don't wait. Call them now, 800-900-8000, and tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. Good to have you with us. And if you just joined us, we're talking about big wins over Mexico and Canada. And I really don't want you to think about this as wins like in, yeah, we kicked their ASS's, okay? Like, these are big wins for the rule of law and respected borders, national security, and human trafficking and drug overdoses that have become a pandemic, an epidemic in the United States of America. You remember when everybody was freaking out over everybody that was dying over COVID, and that was tragic. Do you know that fentanyl beats the living crap out of those numbers? And we shut down an entire world for that. I just want to put that in perspective for you. Fentanyl kills more people than COVID did. And we shut down an entire world for that. That is why you got to get this done. Now, let me go back to Mexico real quick on a couple more things. Delaying these tariffs, and this is the reason why they desperately wanted to agree to all this with Trump and delay these tariffs, is because they wanted to help prevent short-term price hikes on imported goods from Mexico. And the supply chain continuity was the core point for Mexico that was going to crush them economically. Industries dependent on Mexican imports, such as auto manufacturing, agriculture, they wanted to avoid an immediate supply chain disruptions because they'd really not planned for it. And so when I mentioned this a minute ago, these cars go back and forth multiple times. Many cars are manufactured because they'll bring part of it to be done in America, go back across the border to get the rest of it done and bring it back. I mean, there's multiple car manufacturers that go back and forth multiple times. Multiple times. This was going to have major pain for those manufacturers. That is something that Donald Trump did not want to hurt these manufacturers or the workers or the consumer. Mexico really didn't want it to happen, and that's part of the reason why I knew he had leverage. This also was an issue, I think, of market confidence. And especially for investors in Canada and Mexico, this is a dual thing here. Investors in financial markets, they are now looking at this as a positive sign. They don't like uncertainty. They don't like volatility in the marketplace. They want this to be simple. And if you look at Wall Street, you know, it's closed, down 122. That's like a normal day of trading. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. It was a lot worse than that at some points during the day. So there's a lot of companies that are like, okay, we can finally take a breather. We can relax a little bit. And finally, it signals also what Donald Trump was wanting to get. It signals a willingness for a real diplomatic solution rather than immediate economic penalties for everyone involved, and that included the U.S. But when these countries weren't doing the right thing and they were looking the other way on the fentanyl coming in and the human trafficking and the drug smuggling in general, and everything that was coming across the southern border and the northern border. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that Mexico is the same as Canada on these abuses. Clearly, Mexico is a much bigger abuser of this. But Canada was looking the other direction as well. And Donald Trump's like, look, I need commitments from both of you because I know when I crush Mexico, people are going to look for another way in, and that's going to be Canada. And you guys aren't doing a very good job right now. I'm asking you for you to be on the same team, not look the other direction, right? Like, that's what I'm asking for here. The crackdown on smuggling networks is also a huge victory for safety. Because Mexico, not only do they commit to intensifying efforts to dismantle human trafficking and smuggling operations, I think it's pretty clear that Donald Trump put them on notice quietly that if you guys, and we've declared them a terrorist group, like these cartels are terrorist groups, like, do you want a war? Do you want us to actually go to war with these cartels, and you have all of this carnage and economic sanctions and us going to war with the cartels? And I think Donald Trump was pretty clear about this. He was fine with an all-out war because he needed to save this country. Like, this was an all-out war. He needed to save it. And the American people gave a mandate to save it. The American people said, save it. And it was an all-out war. There is no doubt that Trump was willing to do this. Look at what just happened. I talked about this, and by the way, you guys, side note here. I started a new podcast the morning of the inauguration. It's a 10 to 12-minute podcast. It's called the 47 Morning Update. It's a simple show to tell you the three big things are going to happen in the morning so you know what to look forward to that day from the Oval Office. I said this on this morning show, and I said, you know, what's amazing about what Trump is doing this time compared to 2016 is he understands who the liars are, the scumbags are in our government. He understands who the liars and the scumbags are in other countries. He understands now how the game is played, and he is literally walking into the room to destroy it all. He is a human wrecking ball, destroying our government in a positive way, ripping it down, the corruption and the career embeds in our government that aren't working on your behalf. And he's going out and he's fighting these fights, whether it's Panama, whether it's Canada, whether it's Mexico, whatever it may be. He's blowing up terrorists again, ISIS and caves, for goodness sakes. And he has a mandate to do it. He's not waiting to do it because this isn't about negotiating. This is about protecting America, putting America first, and protecting our citizens, which is exactly why he was elected. I said this on TV on Fox News Channel the other day, and I meant it then, and I mean it now. I truly believe God spared Donald Trump's life for this exact moment. In fact, I think that it was a blessing that Donald Trump did not win re-election in 2020 because I think he's done more in the first 2 weeks since the inauguration on January the 20th than he could have probably done a second term. Because seeing the corruption play out and the extremism of DEI and the extremism of the trans-gay radical agenda and the extremism on our college campuses and the extremism of the people that become pro-terrorists on our college campuses and the anti-Semitism, none of that would have come out the way that it did unless there was a Democrat like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden in the White House. I believe this was God's plan for this country, and I believe that he said, okay, I'm gonna let you guys fall. I'm gonna let the American people see you do your thing where you want to mutilate young children and you want to sexualize young children with the books that you have in the schools. And you want to cover up the crimes of of these trans individuals. And you want to normalize a mental health issue. And I'm going to take my hand off you. You're going to get to do what you said you were going to do. And the people are going to have a moment where they decide what they want for the future of this country. And that moment came in 4 years. With the resurrection of Donald Trump, who, by the way, in 2020, political wisdom, no one thought he was going to be back in the White House. People that played the game, they were jumping ship. Look at Mike Pence. Mike Pence on January the 6th, January 7th, he was like, all right, I'm out of here. When everything happened at the Capitol, he's like, this is my moment to separate myself from Donald Trump and this administration because it's going down. It's a sinking ship and I'm jumping off. He got it wrong, by the way. I think we all agree. But everybody in politics thought Donald Trump was done. No one was thinking that Donald Trump was going to ever get back to the White House. I'm not even sure Donald Trump thought he was get back to the White House. But I do believe that this is a moment that we are all going to remember where Donald Trump is walking in there and he is breaking everything because the American people authorized him to do it. And he's not doing it in some, I would argue, and the media is going to try to hit him on this, but I think many people are not listening to the media ever again because they know the lying. We would have never known how corrupt the media was if it wasn't, by the way, for what we witnessed during COVID. The lies about the Hunter Biden laptop. We wouldn't have believed how corrupt the deep state was if it wasn't for the 51 intel officials that knew that Hunter Biden's laptop was real and they wanted to alter and change the outcome of an election. That is election interference. And they all signed their name to a letter to lie to the American people. We wouldn't have known that without Donald Trump losing. Think about that. We wouldn't have known any of that without Donald Trump losing. We wouldn't have known about all the corruption with USAID. Staffers told to stay out of their D.C. headquarters today. Did you hear about this? USAID staffers were told to stay out of D.C. headquarters after Elon Musk said Trump agreed to shut it down. Just a, quote, ball of worms. And the left is like, they're losing their minds right now. Because this is actually happening. Listen to the White House press secretary. This is what we found with USAID. Listen.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces. $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government.
Nobody in their right mind is in favor of the things that Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, just said there. No one. And then this is the part that really makes me laugh. The people that are in charge of USAID, they go to the media like the media is going to save them and listen to how nervous they are.
I talked to the security guard just in there. He said he has been given specific orders to prevent employees of USAID from entering the building today. And I just find that to be absolutely ridiculous. This is no way to govern. This is no way to treat public servants. And this is no way for us to conduct our foreign policy as a country. So I just had to show up today, see it with my own eyes, the chaos of this administration and just their attacks upon public servants in our country.
I love how they act like they're do-gooders. Donald Trump was given a mandate to get rid of people just like you. He was given a mandate to expose the fraud, waste, and abuse of our tax dollars. Caroline Levitt going through that list of the abuse of USAID as she described it. And everyone involved, by the way, should be not only fired, I think some of them should be investigated for this. My tax dollars should not be going to the list that she gave us a moment ago.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces. $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either.
She's right. And that's why President Trump, supported by Elon Musk, announced significant action targeting alleged misuse of federal aid funds. And the key points are the closure of the U.S. Agency for International Development, known as USAID. The administration says, look, we've initiated the steps to shut down USAID, citing insufficiencies and mismanagement. Employees have been instructed to stay home, and the agency's website has been taken offline. President Trump described USAID as being run by radical left lunatics. He said, I'm freezing the federal grants and loans. An order was issued to pause federal financial assistance to review programs for potential waste and abuse. This is amazing. This is what we want. We are not, and Elon Musk highlighted federal grants to all of these different places where it's clearly money laundering. There is money going to people, and it's not actually going to the people that they're claiming it's going to help. This isn't chaos. This is the president paying off on what he was told his job was from the American people, which was to stop wasting my tax dollars. It's very simple. Stop wasting my tax dollars. It's the same conversation Trump had with Mexico's president, announcing that, hey, there's going to be the deployment of 10,000 troops to strengthen the U.S.-Mexico border that we're not going to have to pay for. By the way, liberals should be in favor of this win over Mexico. You want to know why? All the gun grabbers out there, pay attention. Throw this in their face next time they tell you they don't like Trump. This also increased the U.S. efforts to curb firearm trafficking in and out of Mexico. So if you're a gun, grabber, if you're a anti-Second Amendment person, right, you think guns are all bad, stick that in your liberal pipe and smoke it. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Did you see what the Federal Reserve did literally days after President Trump's victory? It lowered interest rates by a quarter. Do you know why it did that? It's worried about the economy. It's worried about the fact that jobs aren't being created. We're seeing all kinds of shifts in our portfolios, and it's important to stay aware. That's why I'm urging everyone to diversify and consider gold as one of your financial shields. Now, gold has weathered every kind of economic downturn throughout history. I want you to call Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best, folks. I've dealt with all of them. They're the best. They're my gold company. 1-800-900-8000. Get a free gold investment kit to see how you can get started with gold. I recommend Advantage Gold to anyone who's serious about protecting their wealth, and that's you. Call 800-900-8000 for your free gold investment kit, and you can even qualify for up to $1,000 in free silver. That's 800-900-8000. Call them now. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. You'll be very happy with them. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. If you just joined us, Canada's caved in. They will pause their proposed tariffs for 30 days and will implement a $1.3 billion border plan. After this phone call with President Trump, Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau announcing that nearly 10,000 troops will be sent to safeguard the border under Trump's pressure. Then Trudeau said, okay, I concede. Let's have a 30-day delay on U.S. tariffs. U.S.-Mexico joint force to combat crime and then also will be formed, and the flow of fentanyl will be stopped into this country as well. There's going to be $200 million that Trudeau is going to put in towards a intelligence directive on going after organized crime. Trudeau described it as a, quote, good phone call with President Trump. VP Vance on the tariffs in Canada. If the Canadians are going to use their economic power to penalize Americans, I think it's totally responsible for the American president to say we're going to be that we're done being taken advantage of. This was never a joke. President Trump put it this way. As president, it is my responsibility to ensure the safety of all Americans. And I'm doing just that. I'm very pleased with this initial outcome. And the tariffs announced on Saturday will be paused for a 30-day period to see whether or not a final economic deal with Canada can be constructed. Fairness for all and safety for the American people. Now, I'm not trying to grandstand here, but you want to know what MAGA looks like? In the past 2 weeks, Mexico caved, Panama caved, Colombia caved, Venezuela caved, Canada panicked. Mass deportations are happening. Hostages are home. DEI programs have ended. Bureaucracy has been slashed. FBI purge is underway. USAID funding canceled. Gender ideology eliminated. D.O.G.E has already saved you billions of your tax dollars. 51 Intel agents that lied to you about the Hunter Biden laptop lost their clearance. And border crossings have dropped by 93%. Hell, even Donald Trump turned the water back on in California with the reservoirs filled back up. You know what winning looks like? I mean this. If you're a liberal and I just gave you that list, how are you not a fan of Donald Trump right now? We'll be right back.
This segment of the podcast is exclusively sponsored by Pure Talk. Pure Talk offers great coverage and can save your family money on your wireless bill every single month. Go to puretalk.com to find the plan that's right for you. Thank you again for listening, and thank you so much for this sponsorship, Pure Talk.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Welcome, it is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one tonight. It is so good to be with you. So there is a trend that is happening when it comes to winning, and I hope that this show, when I'm on here, will help inspire other people in other places to look at what other states are doing when they're winning, especially when it comes to cracking down on illegal immigrants. And that brings me to this headline. If you live outside of Texas, and the majority of you listening right now do, pay attention to what Texas just did so that you know how to fight back when your local elected officials tell you, or your governor tells you, or state officials tell you, well, we just don't have the resources needed to round up illegal immigrants, right? There's a lot of states that are not, quote, sanctuary states that aren't as crazy as like Colorado or California or New York, but they're not actively trying to get in the game to get rid of illegal immigrants. And their excuse is, well, we just don't have the manpower to do it. So that is their cop-out for not working with the Trump administration and our federal government, etc. All right, so here's a new hack for you. The Texas National Guard has now been granted the authority to make immigration arrests. What does that mean? It means that you just, in essence, hired thousands, if not tens of thousands of new people to arrest illegal immigrants instantly. Like, instantly. Let me explain how it works so you know what to advocate for where you live. This memorandum of understanding between Customs and Border Protection, all right, the CBP, and the state of Texas will immediately grant the Texas National Guard soldiers the authority to make immigration arrests within the state of Texas. Peter Flores, the CBP acting commissioner, authored the memorandum of understanding. Now, this memo, which has not yet been disseminated to all Texas border sectors, will allow the soldiers apparently to perform roving patrols and exercise all the duties of an immigration agent, so long as a U.S. immigration officer or Border Patrol agent is accompanying them. Now, according to this memo of understanding, the ratio of soldier to immigration officers is preliminarily listed as 1 officer to 4 soldiers. So for every 1 Border Patrol agent in Texas, you can take 4, you can expand him like a 1 to, and then add 4. So 1 person becomes 5 is how you should be looking at this. So, all right, you give me 1 immigration officer or Border Patrol agent, and I'm going to give you 4 other people to then go out and arrest people with you. This is what you refer to as thinking outside the box. I don't need to hire a bunch of new people necessarily. I don't have to wait to train them up for 6 months or a year and have them shadow people. No, I can. How do I solve this problem right now? That is exactly what Texas is now doing. Title 8, United States Code, arrest authority was granted, quote, to multiple federal law enforcement agencies just days after Trump's inauguration. In fact, on January the 23rd, the Department of Homeland Security authorized federal law enforcement agents to investigate, determine the location of, and apprehend migrants in an illegal status. Now, the details of this memo, which were, by the way, obtained and released in recent days, was actually reported by none other than CBS News. They are very similar to the memo of understanding that was also reviewed by Breitbart, Texas, where you get, by the way, they give great news on what's going on at the border. Duties of the Texas National Guard soldiers are law enforcement related, quote, generally reserved for agents assigned to specific agencies under the Department of Homeland Security. So what did Donald Trump say? Hey, I need more people that can arrest people. You're telling me that's a problem. How do we fix the problem? Here's how we're going to fix it. The latest granting of immigration arrest authority adds at least, right now, this number could significantly go up. It adds at least 3,000 Texas Army National Guard soldiers to the already increased number of ATF, FBI, United States deputy marshals who are now assisting the Department of Homeland Security in enforcing federal immigration laws in Texas. So, what is the takeaway from all of this that they're listing right now? You need to be going to your elected officials in your state saying, hey, this idea is pretty awesome. We really like this. We think this is something that should happen. We think that this is really important. This is something that we want you to be advocating for. We're tired of illegal immigrants in this country. We are tired of what we're witnessing right now. And you notice how much is getting done right now? God, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable. Donald Trump, by the way, has also just come out, and this has happened in the last couple of minutes. Trump has signed an executive order to create U.S. Sovereign Wealth Fund. He said, we have a lot of things that create wealth, and you've seen that over the last 2 weeks. Here is the president moments ago from the Oval Office.
This is an executive order. Discharges your Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, and your Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, to begin a process that will hopefully result in the creation of an American Sovereign Wealth Fund.
It's a very exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you've seen that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth, the people, my predecessors. We're creating a lot of wealth. Scott, maybe you'd like to say something about it, and I'd ask also Howard to say something about it.
Yes, sir. This is very exciting. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work, and I think it's going to be very exciting. We're going to study best practices as done around the world. It'll be a combination of liquid assets that we have in this country as we work to bring them out for the American people.
By the way, this is not a crazy idea. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had, where we create a lot of wealth. We've seen this happen over the last 2 weeks, but we're going to actually look at what we have on the balance sheet and the things that we have, and we're going to actually grow it for the American people. What a novel idea. Run the government the way that we run the private sector. How do we do that? We actually take our heads out of our rear ends. We take our heads out of our rear ends and we sit there and we do something positive for the American people and what they've already invested. What an unbelievable idea. Now, there's going to be a lot of lying, by the way, that's going to be told about these programs. Just get ready for it. Another example of that is all the people that were losing their minds and the tariff critics, for attacking Donald Trump, right? And saying he's going to ruin this economy. When the reality is that Donald Trump is, through these tariffs, is actually trying to save men, women, and children who've died from fentanyl overdoses and securing our borders to make sure that the drugs aren't pouring in. The human trafficking isn't pouring in. Trump advisor Peter Navarro went on Fox News Channel. He said this about the fact that Trump was speaking with the Mexican president and the tariffs have been paused, and this is what winning looks like.
That incident a couple of weeks ago where a Border Patrol agent in Vermont was killed by somebody who came across the border. Now, I want to come back, Peter, if I could, to Mexico. Sheinbaum has said that she'll put 10,000 National Guard troops on the border to try to stem the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants. AMLO did the same thing back in 2021. And after that, it led to record amounts of fentanyl crossing into this country, record numbers of illegal migrants crossing into this country. Do you have confidence that Sheinbaum will actually act, whereas AMLO didn't?
John, the problem, I think people have to understand how the process of fentanyl killing Americans work. Mm-hmm. The communist Chinese are culpable because they make the precursor chemicals that are combined to make the fentanyl. And I was back in the first term, as you know, John, we were fighting the fentanyl wars back then. Sure. And every time China promised to do something, it just never followed through. And so it comes in, the drug cartels make the stuff, off it goes on mules. They're sending it up and around through Canada. Now, I am confident that if Mexico, China, and Canada do which is what was clearly within their capabilities to do to stop that, it will stop. But if it doesn't stop, President Trump will continue his relentless pressure to make sure that Americans stop dying. This is carnage. We've kind of grown immune to the fact that 200 Americans die every single day at the hands of, and by the way, buried the lead, 18 to 45 age group. These are the highest numbers. It's the leading cause of death for that demographic. It's our prime working class people, and we're having our economy hollowed out in part by these deaths. So I'm confident that President Trump is going to get this job done, but it's going to have to be Canadian Prime Minister recognizing it's a drug war, not a trade war, and stop this talk about escalation.
I think you get a lot of...
I love how he explained that there, right? Like the way that he just explained it is spot on. These people are lying and they don't care about who's getting hurt. They just don't care. They don't care who's going to die. They don't care if Americans are being hurt. And they want this to be a wide open border. And you got to ask yourself the question, why do they want it to be a wide open border? Who are they helping out? Who are they working for? Why are they allowing this to happen? This goes back to putting America first. I mentioned this earlier in the show. Trump said USAID is out of control. It's run by radical left lunatics. Here is, again, Donald Trump at the Oval Office moments ago.
The first term, though, USAID was something that you liked in some respects.
I love the concept of it.
That's a program.
Sure, I love the concept, but they turn out to be radical left lunatics. And the concept of it is good, but it's all about the people.
Mr. President.
It's all about the people. It's all about the people. That's what this is about. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. You can send me your comments, by the way, if you can't get through, on Instagram at Ben Ferguson Podcast. On X, Ben Ferguson Show. And also, check out my new morning podcast. If you love Trump, you'll love it. It's a 10 to 12-minute podcast called the 47 Morning Update. I give you the 3 big stories coming out of the Oval Office each morning. It is quick. It is fast. Check it out if you would. The 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea, then try blockading us when we dumped their tea into the ocean. How'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices and gimmicks. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose a free iPhone 14 or a free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans. And yes, this is for a premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big 3. All on America's most dependable 5G network. Get your free iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans by visiting puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Again, that's puretalk.com/LEVIN to claim your free iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk. America's wireless company, my wireless company.
All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. It's really nice to have you with us. I do love a snarky tweet here and there. Someone that I makes me laugh from time to time. Wesley Hunt, he's a congressman from Texas. He put out a tweet with Donald Trump with a Diet Coke, and it says, "We went from a president who needed a nap before noon to one who runs on pure adrenaline and Diet Coke. Feeling the difference yet, America?" Yeah. Like that. Well said. Everybody keeps asking, can you believe this? Can you believe this? And I'm like, yeah, I can. When you get to watch what the crazies do for 4 years and you get to take your time and make a plan of how you're going to fix it, and you get to watch for 4 years of who's taking advantage of us, whether it's the cartels that are now declared as terrorists, whether it's the deep state and the people inside of our government that are screwing us every step of the way. Yeah, it makes a really big difference, folks. It makes an incredible difference to be able to now walk in and go, okay, let's go. You want to go? Let's go. I have a mandate. My mandate is clear. The mandate is obvious. And I'm going to clean this government up. I'm going to stop you guys having your money stolen from you through USAID and Ukraine and other places around the world where we're funding stupid stuff. I'm going to make sure that the workers that you're paying for insane benefits, government workers, and salaries that are over, more than likely we're paying too much for, are actually at least showing up for their damn jobs. I mean, the fact that you have so many buildings are just flat up empty, where 70% plus in some of these departments are working from home, you and I know they're not working from home. They're not. I know it. The workers know it. The president knows it. 1-877-381-3811. Let me go to Ronnie. Welcome. You are on the Mark Levin Show, line 4. Hi. Ronnie, you there?
Yes.
All right, now I got you. Go ahead.
To be able to now walk in and go, okay, let's go.
All right, Ronnie, you're going to have to turn your radio down if we're going to talk. You there? Go ahead.
Yeah, hold on. Here we go.
All right, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, I got you. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, so, I was basically talking about the fentanyl. What I was saying is, I had my experience with caring for someone who had cancer and was given that at a hospital. But the way I see it, this is a drug that was made in the U.S. I think they got to stop production here first. This is something that's 100 times stronger than any other painkiller. I mean, it's given as a tranquilizer for elephants in Africa, and one of the main side effects is death on it. Now, you got to stop production here in order for it to slow down from overseas.
All right, let me say this. I don't know enough about fentanyl when it's used the right way. I do know how deadly it is when it's not mixed correctly and used the right way, and fake pills. And the reason why I'm cautious to just blindly agree with what you said is, you remember when everybody was attacking ivermectin, and on CNN they were calling it a horse dewormer when that's not the primary use? Has a lots of use. By the way, my dog, I go get him a prescription every month, and it's the same prescription that I get as a human, right? It's a different potency for what he's been prescribed for, but I go pick it up at a pharmacy at a grocery store. I mean, the idea that we shouldn't be producing fentanyl, look, there's a lot of drugs that if they're abused, they're bad. I don't know if we should be stopping producing fentanyl in America. If it is done the right way and not abused and not used by drug cartels, it might actually be okay. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. We'll be right back.
This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea, then try blockading us when we dumped their tea into the ocean. How'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices and gimmicks. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose a free iPhone 14 or a free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans. And yes, this is for premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three. All on America's most dependable 5G network. Get your free iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans by visiting puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Again, that's puretalk.com/LEVIN to claim your free iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk. America's wireless company, my wireless company.
Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you. All right, I want to have a little fun, and I'm going to challenge many of you. You ever want to get an illegal immigrant arrested? I'm not laughing, okay? I'm just saying it's amazing how stupid some of these people are. New Jersey's Governor Phil Murphy strongly implied that he is harboring an illegal alien in his actual home as he taunts ICE to do something about it. I'm not joking. This is from YouTube originally, from the governor's office's YouTube page. Are you ready? Here's your governor in New Jersey.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
That is the New Jersey Governor, Phil Murphy. At an event, on stage, I'm sure thinking that it wouldn't go viral. Right? I'm sure he's thinking to himself. In fact, let's just listen to that again. I love how he says they don't have their status where they want to be. Translation, I've got an illegal immigrant living in my in-law wing over my garage, and to ICE, come and get her. Good luck, Donald Trump.
Talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
All right. Do your thing, America. Do your thing. I'm going to tweet this out right now. Do your thing, America, is how I'm going to put it. And I'm going to tag Donald Trump. I want every single one of you to help this story go viral. Because if you want to send a message that no one that's in this country illegally is going to be this governor, and this is the difference between law and order and anarchy and chaos that we've had for the last 4 years. Do your thing, America. I just tweeted this out. The video is there. Let's make Governor Murphy so famous, and let's make sure that Donald Trump and everybody else at ICE and everybody in law enforcement knows about him harboring and mocking America's laws and mocking ICE. Today, I got an illegal immigrant above my garage. What are you going to do about it, ICE? What are you going to do about it, Donald Trump? I just put the video up on X. You can follow me there at Ben Ferguson Show. And the New Jersey governor, a Democrat, Phil Murphy, sticking his finger in the eye of Trump administration, bragging about harboring an illegal alien in his home. By the way, I got to give credit because I love these internet warriors. Steve Guest, I follow him. You should follow him at Steve Guest on X. This is what he does. He is a silent warrior who is out there giving this information. And he sent this to me. I was like, no way. This is real. It's real. He actually said this. Yes, he did. We have Donald Trump in charge, and I would hope that every one of you listening will go get this clip, hit that share button, and share it. It's up on mine right now, at Ben Ferguson Show. Go grab it right now and share it so everybody sees that this is a governor in America, a Democrat. And you want to know how much these Democrats hate this country? This is how much they hate America. They don't have any respect for the law. They don't look at people that break in this country illegally as committing crimes. They pick and choose. These are the people that want Donald Trump in prison, but will harbor someone who is an illegal immigrant. And they go, oh, well, they're just waiting on their status to change. I'd love to help their status change from in America to out of America. This goes back to the orchestrated, coordinated effort that I've talked about for so long. They did this on purpose, and they knew that people were going to die. And Phil Murphy, the governor there, is exactly the problem we have right now, is that you have leaders that are like, hey, I know that drugs are going to come in. I know that fentanyl is going to kill people. I know that my citizens are going to die. I know that my citizens are going to be raped. I know that children are going to be molested. I know that my citizens are going to be murdered. I know they're going to be stolen from. I know some of their lives are going to be ruined, and I don't care because I want to import future voters while they wait for, in his words, their status to change. You have to understand, they think that once you get into America, there's no way that America will have the willpower to get you out of this country. So he describes illegal immigrants in America as others waiting for the status to change. That's what Biden and Harris did. Now that's what New Jersey governor, he's like, hey, here, Donald Trump, here's the middle finger. Hey, ICE, here's the middle finger. Because we have someone, we don't consider them a lawbreaker. No, we just say we're waiting for their status to change.
We're talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. I just put it up there on X. Follow me at Ben Ferguson Show. Let's make Governor Murphy famous. Let's make this comment famous. Let's make sure that every conservative in Donald Trump's administration sees this, because this is where the mandate comes in. This is where you guys on social media can have a real impact and a difference. This is where you can get in the fight. People ask me all the time, how do you make a difference? How do you, well, these are those moments. You share this. You share it on social media, wherever the hell you are. And you shine a light on the abuse of power by this governor who is saying, go ahead, I dare you. Come in. Yeah, good luck trying to come in and get her. Good luck trying to come in here, and we will scoff in your face. We will laugh in your face. Good luck coming in here trying to fix all, you're not going to kick out my illegal immigrants. And by the way, this is clearly a moment where he's saying, I'm a chosen one, right? Like I'm a chosen one. I'm a governor. I don't play by the same rules as everybody else. I get to pick and choose which illegal immigrants I want in my city and then in my home, in my family. And there's nothing the federal government can do to stop me from doing it. Okay. Let me get to your phone calls. 1-877-381-3811. Jason, line 2, welcome. You are on the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you tonight. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good. Yeah, the Trump tariffs. I mean, I guess I like that American saying. What is it? FAFO.
Yeah.
He means business, and I mean, America's fighting a war on two fronts with these drugs. I mean, I'm from Australia, and we basically have our border is the ocean, and you get caught with drugs coming into Australia. They take your boat, they sink it, they arrest you, and you get sent back to your country. I mean, every country has drug laws. Some places have drug laws where you get hung, for bringing in drugs. I mean, you know, if they're not going to help, then the tariffs are the only way to go. If they're going to sit there and play tiddlywinks, I mean, you know what, help us, or, you know what, tariffs are coming, and that's what they're finding out now.
I also think these tariffs against Canada and Mexico, going back to just that for a second, and why it's so important, because if Donald Trump's willing to hold account Canada and Mexico, what message does that send to the rest of the world when they're dealing with Donald Trump for the next 4 years? Like, you know, FAFO, right? And you, if Donald Trump is willing to hold Canada to this standard, who is an ally, and in theory Mexico standard, which is an ally, then imagine what he's going to do to Al Qaeda or ISIS or to other countries that are not our allies, that are not our friends. You think, and this goes back to what we just talked about with USAID. Like the corruption there, like shut it down. The American people's tax dollars are the trillions of dollars that our tax dollars have been wasted and funneled to the most corrupt people in the world. The number of dollars that we have spent on our taxes that we will never see again because of the corruption and people getting rich off of just whoring out our dollars to everything else but Americans. Like, look at this country right now. I go back to the biggest injustice in this country right now, in my opinion, is the fact that the majority of our kids are not reading, writing, and doing arithmetic at grade level in our public schools. Our public schools are a disaster. Now, I'm a big fan of school choice. I think we should destroy the public education system as we know it. By the way, I have family that is in public education. I want them to still teach. I don't want them to teach in a broken system. I want there to be phenomenal teachers. I want teachers to make good money. I don't want them to make $40,000 a year or $50,000 a year. I want people, the best and the brightest, to teach. I don't want incompetent people teaching. But what we have right now is a total failure in this country, and it's destroying this country, and it's allowing for too many people to be relying on the government after high school because they don't know how to read, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to do arithmetic. And instead of teaching, we've indoctrinated. We've indoctrinated people to believe that the government is their daddy. We've indoctrinated people to believe that the government is the answer to all their problems. We've indoctrinated people to believe that you're not supposed to be able to provide for yourself. We've indoctrinated people to believe that the government should be paying your bills and for your food and your light bill and your housing subsidy. We've gotten people addicted like it is a drug to government aid. Why? Because the Democratic Party wants the American people to be weak and not be able to stand up to them. They want to be able to control them, and they want them to be on the edge of financial disaster every 30 days if their magic government card doesn't fill up with money. That's the truth, folks. That's the truth. And so this all comes back down to the issue of accountability. Remember when Donald Trump was the biggest threat to this country back in his first term? Do you remember when that was? It was at a point where we had the lowest unemployment in history among African American men, women, Asian Americans, and Hispanic Americans. And the Democratic Party said, we've got to do something to get rid of him. We've got to overthrow the will of the people. We've got to impeach him. We've got to come up with fake crimes. We've got to lock him up. We've got to get him out of office. And the simple reason why they decided to do that is because they realized that Donald Trump was empowering people. He was empowering them to grow and to be able to take care of themselves and not need the government. He was getting people off of food stamps. He was getting people out of government housing. He was getting them out of poverty, simply put. And he was doing it, and it was destroying and threatening the Democratic Party's modern day slavery that they had over African Americans and other voters. And so what did the Democrats do? They did two things. One, they went after Trump and tried to impeach him and try to throw him in jail. And two, they said we got to flood this country next time we have a chance with illegal immigrants to replace those voters. And that's where we are right now. And we have a massive correction because Trump won because of everyone listening. 1-877-381-3811. Ben Ferguson filling in for Mark Levin. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
This country was founded on freedom. Freedom from a country that forced us to buy overpriced tea, then try blockading us when we dumped their tea into the ocean. How'd that work out? Well, it's time to throw your overpriced big wireless contract overboard, too. You don't need to pay $100 a month per person just to get a free phone. Pure Talk, my cell phone company, says no to inflated prices and gimmicks. With a qualifying plan of just $45 a month, you can choose a free iPhone 14 or a free Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans. And yes, this is for a premium service. Unlimited talk, text, 25 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot at a fraction of the price of the big three. All on America's most dependable 5G network. Get your free iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy with qualifying plans by visiting puretalk.com/Levin today. Switching is easy. Again, that's puretalk.com/LEVIN to claim your free iPhone or Galaxy with a qualifying purchase from Pure Talk. America's wireless company, my wireless company.
I gotta tell you, I love you guys. I mean that. It's so fun. During the break, I'm looking at all you guys that are sending out this video that I played here a moment ago of the New Jersey Democratic Governor, Phil Murphy, saying, I got an illegal immigrant living above my garage. I dare you, ICE, to come and get her. This is the New Jersey governor. Make it go viral because that's going to put pressure to actually have ICE go in and do their job. Like, this is that moment where, fine, you want to play this game, then let's go. You want to walk out there on stage and you want to mock the laws of this land and you're a governor. You want to mock our safety and our security and you're a governor in New Jersey. The way that he did, oh yeah, I got me an illegal over my garage. Please take that video and retweet it. It's on X. I put it up there right now. These are his own words. You can follow me at Ben Ferguson Show. I've tagged Donald Trump in it. They'll see it if it goes viral on social media, as it should. Everybody else will grab it. And let's shine a light on a governor telling you he is breaking the law.
The governor of New Jersey practically daring the agency to come to his own home. Democratic Governor Phil Murphy declared on Saturday that he and the First Lady are allowing someone pursuing legal status to stay at their home. The governor a little vague on this, but the bold admission came at an event during a broader discussion about the policies of the new Trump administration. Here is the governor. Listen.
Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to.
I love the arrogance of that. Well, there's somebody that their immigration status, their immigration status is not yet at where a point where they want it to be. That means you're here illegally. You broke in. You're an illegal immigrant, Governor.
Never live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Good luck to the feds to come in and try to get her. Good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. So what are you going to do? I mean, that sounds like a threat to the feds. If we're really talking about this intellectually, you have a governor who just said, good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. All right, I like this moment. That we're either going to have laws that are enforced or we're not. And when you have a governor that's this defiant in New Jersey, Phil Murphy, then fine. Let everybody see this. Let everybody hear it and let them decide for themselves. Is this where we want to be in this country? Is this what we want to happen in this country? Are we It's a simple question, especially you guys listening right now in New Jersey. Like, is this what you want to live under? That governors, hey, you guys must live by a certain set of laws, but I'm the governor. I get to pick and choose which laws of America I decide to live by. And when I don't like a law, I give you the American middle finger. Which one is it? You want to know why I love doing this show? Why it truly is an honor to fill in for Mark? It's because hopefully there's moments like this where we make this bigger than just a show, where we advocate for change. I hope every one of you will share this. This is one of those clips I'm like, let's get it to 1 million people. Let's let the American people see this defiant governor and what he said. And let's see if we can actually have this governor be held accountable for helping someone break the law. Grab that tweet during the break, at Ben Ferguson Show. It's up there right now, at Ben Ferguson Show. Filling in for Mark Levin. We'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
All right, so we got a lot of winning that's happening right now because of Donald Trump. Democrats are trying to figure out how to fight back at the moment. If you just joined us, we were talking about the governor in New Jersey, defiant at this hour. In fact, over the weekend, he admitted to helping harbor someone that is, well, committing a crime. The New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy, giving ICE and Donald Trump the middle finger. Here is the story that needs to go viral. You challenge America this way in our laws, and you're a governor, you deserve to be held accountable for it.
See, the governor of New Jersey practically daring the agency to come to his own home. Democratic Governor Phil Murphy declared on Saturday that he and the First Lady are allowing someone pursuing legal status to stay at their home. The governor a little vague on this, but the bold admission came at an event during a broader discussion about the policies of the new Trump administration. Here is the governor. Listen.
Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
Good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. Wow. You've got nationwide immigration enforcement efforts, and the governor of New Jersey is now like, yeah, I'm aiding and abetting. Yeah, I know that there's someone that we like that isn't illegal, and we're just going to have them stay in our garage. Good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. All right. I want your thoughts. Should the government go in and set an example and say, hey, guess what, Governor Murphy? You don't get to play by a different set of rules. Thanks for telling us where an illegal immigrant is. I hope this clip goes viral. I put it up on X. If you're on X, share it. I'll put it up on Instagram too. But if you're on X, make it go viral. I hope everyone sees this. This is where you guys, I get asked all the time, how do I make a difference? It's one of those moments. Let's make this governor famous for harboring someone who is breaking the law and challenging the law by saying, quote, good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her. Share it on X. At Ben Ferguson Show is the handle. My handle on X, at Ben Ferguson Show. Every one of you that's listening, if you share it, this will go to 1 million+ people. I have no doubt. You want to make a difference? Here's a chance. Now, let's talk about this other issue of USAID and what is happening on this fight now. The White House has come out, and there is massive corruption at USAID. Your tax dollars are being abused in the most egregious way. I would refer to this nothing less than money laundering and corruption at the highest level in our government. The White House press secretary coming out with this list saying this earlier.
These are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either. And
I know the American people don't either. Now, USAID, they were like, all right, we'll fight back. So early on, one of the dudes that worked there had a press conference outside and was like, we've been locked out of the building. Woe is us.
I talked to the security guard just in there. He said he has been given specific orders to prevent employees of USAID from entering the building today. And I just find that to be absolutely ridiculous. This is no way to govern. This is no way to treat public servants. And this is no way for us to conduct our foreign policy as a country. So I just had to show up today, see it with my own eyes, the chaos of this administration and just their attacks upon public servants in our country.
Fast forward a few hours later. This is the new update for you of what's happened in the afternoon. Democrats led what many described as a organized mob of protesters into the USAID headquarters. We're talking Ilham Omar's there, a bunch of the Congress people and senators who are out there, and they are having this moment. Oh, we're going to fight back at USAID headquarters. As one described it, kind of looks a little insurrection-y to me, as they led a mob of protesters into USAID. And here's part of what they said before their insurrection-y moment.
And his crew put a gag order on AID employees. They disconnected them from email, which is putting lives at risk around the world. So we are here to enter the building and so we can hear firsthand from whoever is here at AID, or at least witness firsthand what is happening with this Elon Musk attempted takeover, which will not stand. We will prevail. Let's go.
We will prevail. By the way, the websites are shut down. The internet access is, the email access gone. But never let a crisis go to waste, right? Like, you get busted abusing power. You get busted wasting money and funneling it to some of the most corrupt people. And this happens. Ilham Omar, very upset about USAID, which she claims makes Donald Trump a dictator with the newest move, and Elon Musk. Here's Ilham Omar. Remember, this is the same chick that, didn't she say, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it the same woman that said that the 9/11 hijackers were some people that did some things? Yeah, that would be her.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution and you install yourself as the sole power, that is how dictators are made.
I love how they call him a dictator. Quote, it's really, really a sad day in America. We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator day one. And here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. So the guy's trying to save us money by not sending it to the world's worst places where there are dictators and warlords and cartels and tyrants. And we're not going to allow our tax dollars to go to these people through this USAID. And we are finding out the waste and abuse that is involved here, and we're exposing it. They're like, Donald Trump's a dictator. No, Donald Trump is a hero. This is the same woman that advocated for defunding the police and raising money for those that were burning down cities with Black Lives Matter. There's the same woman, Ilham Omar, who referred to the 9/11 hijackers as some people that did something. Some people that did something. That's what she said in her own words. The BBC, back in 2019 when she said it, their headline, America newspapers wouldn't run it this way. Ilham Omar, the 9/11 congresswoman, embroiled in a new fight. Because of her quote, because of what she said. And now she's out there saying Donald Trump is a dictator, but the people that did 9/11, oh, they're just some people that did some things, right? That's all they are.
It was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our civil liberties.
Some people that did something. That was at the 4th Annual Valley Banquet for Care, California. Advancing injustice, empowering Muslims was what was behind her. And so it was founded because we were under attack. No, actually America was, but thanks for playing.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
9/11 hijackers are just some people that did something, but Donald Trump is a dictator and a tyrant. I mean, if you think they're going to sit down and just let us win, they're not. And that's exactly why we have to call them out every single time they say things like this and remind you who they are. 1-877-381-3811. 1-877-381-3811. Oh, wait. Oh, we got an update here. Ooh. All right. Phil Murphy's rep, that's the governor of New Jersey, after you guys are helping this clip go viral, is now claiming the New Jersey governor is not, quote unquote, sheltering the migrant at his home, despite daring the feds to try to get her. I'm going to have that story coming up next on the Mark Levin Show right after this.
Mark Levin.
Welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in for the great one. Always a honor and a pleasure to be with you tonight. We got some breaking news during the show. So Governor Phil Murphy, which we're making go viral, do not let him off the hook for this. Share the video I just put up on X at Ben Ferguson Show. And it is the video of Phil Murphy claiming that he has a illegal immigrant he is sheltering above his garage at his house, and has made it very clear, bring it on to the feds. Like, good luck trying to come and get her. Well, Phil Murphy's rep is now claiming the New Jersey governor is, quote, not sheltering a migrant at his home, despite daring the feds to try and get her. The New Jersey governor, Phil Murphy's office, is now, ferociously trying to backpedal tonight, after he boasted that he had opened his home to a migrant, aka an illegal immigrant, and taunted the Trump administration to, quote, try and get her. A rep has now told the Post that the, quote, loose-lipped Jersey leader has been misinterpreted, and that so much the situation had occurred, no such situation had occurred, even though Murphy had dared the feds to come after the migrant. Murphy had boasted during a weekend interview with a liberal organization, I guess assuming that you and I weren't going to make this go viral, because he was sitting there in an interview with a liberal organization that he and his wife Tammy had opened their home to a female migrant and challenged the feds to do anything about it, as ICE agents continue to carry out sweeping deportation raids across the country. Before I tell you the end of the story, because they're now saying that the governor lied, you got to pick who you believe here, okay? It's one of the two, right? You got to pick which one you believe. Here is the governor, and here's the story in his own words. Now his staff is saying this is all a lie. It's not true. He was taken out of context. Never happened.
See, the governor of New Jersey practically daring the agency to come to his own home. Democratic Governor Phil Murphy declared on Saturday that he and the First Lady are allowing someone pursuing legal status to stay at their home. The governor a little vague on this, but the bold admission came at an event during a broader discussion about the policies of the new Trump administration. Here is the governor. Listen.
Tammy and I were talking about, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet at the point that they are trying to get it to. And we said, you know what, let's have her live at our house above our garage. And good luck to the feds coming in to try to get her.
So now his staff is saying one of two things, and you get to decide, America, if you believe. And again, if you're on X, please make this go viral, because clearly now they're trying to say, no, just kidding. This illegal immigrant that we're saying is at our house is not at our house. Oh, no, this never happened. It's all a lie. I'm not believing the governor. Share it right now. It's on X, at Ben Ferguson Show. I've got it tweeted up there. Go share it, and let's make this governor famous. Now, there's two options here. Either he made it up and lied to look like Billy Bad A, right? Like, oh, I'm going to stand up and watch this, and I'm going to tell him what I think, all right? Or he was telling the truth, and now he's regretting it because he's actually afraid that the illegal immigrant is going to be arrested. His exact quote, I don't want to get into too much detail, but there's someone in our broader universe whose immigration status is not yet the point where they're trying to get it to, meaning they're an illegal immigrant. And we said, you know what? Let's have her live in our house above our garage. Now, maybe you just thought I could say this because no one's going to make it go viral and it's not going to get out to the mainstream because I'm talking to a bunch of liberals in a room. Well, now we've got the audio. We have the video. His comments created a firestorm, the New York Post reporting tonight, forcing a representative to, quote, furiously try to walk them back to the post. Murphy was just referring to a legal resident who is in his circle of friends and was worried about President Trump's return to the White House. The governor's rep is now saying, so it's not a legal immigrant, this is a legal resident. Well, if you're a legal resident, why would you be worried at all? Quote, this is from the governor's office. No one's ever lived in the home under those circumstances that the governor described, the representative has now insisted to the New York Post. The rep, by the way, did not explain why Murphy, who lives with his family in a mansion in Middletown, New Jersey, would dare the Trump administration to go after the woman at his home if she wasn't there. His public challenge to the Republican White House was not his only swipe at President Trump during Saturday's onstage discussion with Blue Wave New Jersey. What is Blue Wave New Jersey? It's a grassroots organization that pushes liberal causes at Montclair State University in Montclair, New Jersey. Murphy is an ex-U.S. ambassador to Germany under former President Barack Obama, appeared to compare the administration to the rise of Nazism in the European country nearly a century ago, when warning audience members to gear up for the next 4 years. Oh, wow. This is getting good. I love when this news breaks during the show in response to us exposing the governor. This is amazing. Share it. Make this dude famous. Let's go grab the non-existent illegal immigrant who he said is an illegal immigrant who he dared to come get. Bring it on, ICE. Ben Ferguson filling in for Mark Levin. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you. I love it when I can bring you good news. We're hearing now that Tulsi Gabbard has secured what many would describe as a shock endorsement from Susan Collins. What does that mean? It means it drastically increased the chances of confirmation. The Republican Maine Senator Susan Collins announced that she will support President Donald Trump's Director of National Intelligence, DNI nominee Tulsi Gabbard. After extensive consideration of her nomination, I will support Gabbard to be the Director of National Intelligence, she said in a statement. As one of the principal authors of the Intelligence Reform and Terrorism Prevention Act of 2004 that established this coordinating position, I understand the critical role that DNI plays in the intelligence community. So, again, this is big breaking news, obviously, and America should be excited about this because, look, Democrats are looking to beat somebody. It was, I think Tulsi was at the top of their list with Kash Patel is in there as well. But this was one of those that I was a little bit concerned about. And now it seems that this is going to mean that there's a very good chance that she will, in fact, be confirmed. Also, Elon Musk's D.O.G.E has locked federal human resources workers out of their computer systems, is what we're being told. Musk's aides have locked career government bureaucrats out of their computer systems that operate a federal government human resources agency. Musk, the owner of the social media platform X and the leader of the Department of Government Efficiency, which is tasked with slashing government waste, government fraud, and government abuse, installed allies at the Government Resources Agency known as the Office of Personnel Management, OPM. Reuters, citing government officials who spoke to the outlet anonymously, said career bureaucrats had their access to government systems revoked. Quote, we have no visibility into what they are doing with the computer and data systems, one official said. This is creating concern. There is no oversight. It creates real cybersecurity and hacking implications, the official claimed. OPM. As such, removed many in the federal government. The agency has sent out memos encouraging bureaucrats to take buyouts offer to quit and take a vacation to a dream destination, quote unquote. The buyout package includes 8 months' pay if the civil servant chooses to retire. Musk's allies have also set up camp at the OPM headquarters so they can work around the clock. A team including current and former employees of Musk assumed command of OPM on January 20th, the day Trump took office. They have moved sofa beds onto the 5th floor of the agency's headquarters, which contains the director's office and can only be accessed with a security badge or a security escort, one of the OPM employees stated. The sofa beds have been installed so the team can work around the clock. It feels like a hostile takeover, one employee said. I love the woke people that work in our government. The OPM is reportedly run by a former Musk employee, Amanda Scales, who now serves as the agency's chief of staff. A former engineer at Tesla is also there and is working as senior advisor to the agency. This is what happens when the crybabies can't get their computers to work. Like, they're all freaking out, and I'm sorry, I just laugh. Like, this is so good. It is hysterical. They're freaking out, and they're losing their minds because they're losing their power. And then because they're losing their power, like, oh my gosh, like, do you know what this means? This is a national security issue. I go back to the story that when he bought X, when Musk bought X, and there was like massive amounts of just waste financially. One of the things that he did was he like said, hey, we got to shut down like some of these redundant servers. You guys are spending too much money. And all these jobs, and you guys, it's absurd. And they're like, well, it's going to take months to do that, sir. Apparently, Elon Musk, the story goes, just like took a flight and went to one of the server farms and just said, hey, like, I'm here. I own the company. Shut the thing down. And something that the employees claimed, right, that was going to take months to get ready for, he did it. And Twitter, now X, didn't stop working. Everything was fine. The reason why I love what Elon Musk is doing right now is because he's going in there and he's saying, I am here to break the thing. And the thing is a bloated, corrupt government. And I am here to break the thing that has been taking from the American people and abusing its power and attacking the American people and weaponizing the government against the American people and wasting their tax dollars. I love that. I love that there's a thing that needs to be broken, and we're finally watching it break, and it is this government's corruption. 1-877-381-3811, 1-877-381-3811. Let me go to line 4 to David in El Paso. Welcome. You're on the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson filling in. Hi.
Hi, Ben. How are you today?
Doing well, sir. Good to talk to you.
Fantastic. Hey, I wanted to talk real quickly about the issue with Governor Abbott deputizing the state guard. And there's a couple constitutional issues that we might run into with that. First of all, in the state of Texas, Penal Code 3802, a citizen does not have to talk to law enforcement. They don't have to ID unless they've been lawfully arrested. So unless the state trooper or the Border Patrol has other information to say that a person is illegal, unless that person speaks up and admits to it, they have no, at least under Texas law, they have no authority to make that arrest. Then the second thing is the U.S. Constitution requires that a policing agency must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that a crime is, or will be occurring.
And I get that point, but let me push back and explain and go back to the facts of what they're doing here. They're putting them out with the people whose job it is to stop the illegal immigrants coming across the southern border and to investigate it. And so I'm not worried about that aspect that you just described there, because they're doing the job, that their sole job, which is to deal with the illegal immigrants and those coming, and those that are being caught coming across the southern border. So I am not concerned about that. Now, do I expect that liberals and woke people are going to do everything they can to sue? Yes. I also think there's a mentality right now of like, bring it on. Let's have the grand debate in a court of law, because we're going to make changes, and we're not going to be afraid to make changes because of the possibilities that, in essence, you're describing. Like, let's actually have the conversation. Let's have the grand debate. Let's talk it out. And let's see who's right, and let's see who's wrong. And that's what the American people are asking for right now. I'll go back to USAID for a second, and this, fight and this insurrection-y moment by Democrats, storming the building. Marco Rubio took over the embattled USAID and vows to change, vows big change to a completely unresponsive, as he described it, agency. This is all about accountability. Now, there's going to be people saying, well, you can't do this. Why not? I mean, this is in El Salvador. He said this. In El Salvador, while he's down there in his new job, he's like, we told you this was going to happen. You guys are wasting American tax dollars. Here's Rubio in his own words.
Well, look, I mean, my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so. So the functions of USAID, there are a lot of functions of USAID that are going to continue, that are going to be part of American foreign policy, but it has to be aligned with American foreign policy. I said very clearly during my confirmation hearing that every dollar we spend and every program we fund, that will be aligned with the national interest of the United States. And USAID has a history of sort of ignoring that and deciding that there's somehow a global charity separate from the national interest. These are taxpayer dollars. And so I'm very troubled by these reports that they've been unwilling to cooperate with people who are asking simple questions about what does this program do, who gets the money, who are our contractors, who's funded. And that sort of level of insubordination makes it impossible to conduct a sort of mature and serious review that I think foreign aid writ large should have. We're spending taxpayer money here. These are not donor dollars. These are taxpayer dollars. And we owe the American people the assurances that every dollar we are spending abroad is being spent on something that furthers our national interest. And so far, a lot of the people that work at USAID have just simply refused to cooperate.
Are you currently in charge of USAID? Or are you
I'm the acting director of USAID. I've delegated that authority to someone, but I stay in touch with him. And again, our goal was to go in and align our foreign aid to the national interest. But if you go to mission after mission and embassy after embassy around the world, you will often find that in many cases, USAID is involved in programs that run counter to what we're trying to do in our national strategy with that country or with that region. That cannot continue. USAID is not an independent, non-governmental entity. It is an entity that spends taxpayer dollars, and it needs to spend it, as the statute says, in alignment with the policy directives that they get from the Secretary of State, the National Security Council, and the President. And it's been 20 or 30 years where people have tried to reform it, and it refuses to reform. It refuses to cooperate. When we were in Congress, we couldn't even get answers to basic questions about programs. That will not continue. That's not going to continue.
Elon Musk is called a terrorist organization. Do you believe that?
I've articulated to you my challenges with it, and they go back to my time in Congress. Okay, we would ask them questions. Who does this program fund? Who gets the money? We won't tell you. We don't need to tell you. We're apolitical. Well, American foreign policy isn't apolitical. American foreign policy is to further the interest of the United States. If someone wants to spend apolitical dollars, they should spend private dollars, go start a charity, and you can fund anyone you want. But if you're going to spend taxpayer money, then you need to spend it in furtherance of the national interest of the United States. That's exactly what I said at my confirmation hearing. And this is not my frustration. This frustration has existed now for almost a quarter century in multiple administrations that have gone through this challenge. It's going to stop and it's going to end.
I love the quarter century part there. I played that clip. I know it was longer, but it was important to hear what Marco Rubio just said in El Salvador. He's like, I'm the acting director of U.S. aid. I've delegated authority to someone. I'm in touch with them every day. We're not like, this has been a quarter of a century battle, and it's over now. These are not donor dollars. These are taxpayer dollars. And we owe the American people the assurance that every dollar we are spending abroad is being spent on something that furthers our national interests. Past 20, 30 years, lawmakers have tried to reform USAID or USAID. But the agency refuses to cooperate nor be transparent with Congress. Okay, then we're going to take it back over. Go back to the money. Follow the money. When the White House press secretary listed some of the recent items that USAID tax dollars have funded in recent years, including $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, why the hell are we spending our money to advance DEI in Serbia? $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland. Why the hell are we paying for any musical in Ireland? $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. Why do we give a crap about any opera, straight or gay or transgendered opera in Colombia? $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. Why are we paying for any comic book in Peru? And that's why she said what she said. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap. She is correct. Right? Like, I don't want my tax dollars going towards this crap. And that's exactly what it is. Part of the reason why I think we're winning so much right now is because we're bringing receipts to the battle and we're not having conversations or debates over hypotheticals or generalities. USAID, we also found out, has been paying media organizations to publish their propaganda. Why was USAID actively instructing media organizations around the world to agree policies on strategic silence to all collectively censor social media narratives? How do we know this? Because there is a pamphlet that we found from USAID that says exactly what I just stated. Elon Musk, by the way, just tweeted it. I'll tweet it out right now so you guys can see it. And you can look at it for yourself. But there are 104 DEI contracts totaling over $1 billion that have been canceled thanks to Elon Musk and Doge. Let me say that again. There have been 104 DEI contracts totaling over $1 billion that have been canceled thanks to Doge. I'm going to have the list for you coming up in a moment. Okay, I'll have that for you. I'll give you the list. Send me your comments, and you can, by the way, the video is still up there. You can make it go viral on X. Follow me there, at Ben Ferguson Show. Don't forget, I do a new morning podcast, which I hope you guys will grab. It is called the 47 Morning Update. It is a 10 to 12-minute podcast of the three biggest stories coming out of the White House. If you want a quick morning update of what's happening each day, grab the 47 Morning Update with me, Ben Ferguson. I'd appreciate it. I'd love for you to follow me and listen to that every day. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
All right, welcome back. It is the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you. Good to have you with us tonight. And if you just joined us, we've been talking a lot about winning. It's big wins tonight. A lot of big wins for Donald Trump, including shutting down USAID. You have the Marco Rubio saying, we tried to work with them. They've been abusing their power for 20, 30 years. They haven't been listening. They've been supporting things that are going against the initiatives of our administration. So guess what? We're going to lock the employees out. We're going to shut this thing down. I'm the acting director, and this is how we play now. Like, we're sick and tired of it. Democrats are now claiming yet again Donald Trump's a dictator for actually doing what the American people sent him to Washington to do. They sent him there to get rid of the abuse and fraud and the waste. He's doing that. This is part of what Americans voted for. Full stop. Let me go to Chuck, line 1 in Boston. Welcome. You're on the Mark Levin Show. Ben Ferguson with you. How are you? Chuck, you there?
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, it was silent the whole time I was on hold, so it's kind of confusing. Anyway, well, with Elon Musk, what he's doing at that agency, I'm sure he's going to audit the payroll department, and what he needs to do is everybody on that payroll department or anybody that ever accepted money from that department or that agency, they should have a personal IRS audit. What do you think?
I don't know about personal. I'm not here to get vindictive. What I am saying is the government should audit where our money has been going out of the agencies, and whatever they need to do outside of that, then let's do it. Like, full stop, let's do it. All right, I'm out of time. It's been always a pleasure filling for the great one. I'd love to keep up with you guys. Grab my new morning podcast, if you would. It's the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson, wherever you get your podcasts. 10 to 12 minutes of what's going to happen each day at the White House with Donald Trump. Download it, 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. I'll see you back here again real soon.